Dun, dun, dun. Brigitte Stills is a top real estate professional in Australia. She's joining us today on the WSA TV Women's Premiere Show to share about how women rise and the passion she has, especially for Australian women, because she's from Australia. And this is a whole new opportunity that we are bringing for women in Australia. So I wanted to welcome you. I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer today, and welcome, Brigitte.
Hello there. Good morning. How are you?
Great. And I thought I would have you start off talking about your affiliation with Women's Speakers Association and how that came about.
How that came about? That came about actually a couple of years ago. When I had a call with Gail Watson, and it was all to do with, we were discussing the book at the time, and shortly after that, I joined, and the information that she provided with me was amazing. And I can only say that I believe in Women's Speakers Association being a global organisation in a world in which women are empowered to express themselves, build a thriving, prosperous business, and feel part of something greater, a world in which women take ownership, often step into being leaders. They are using their voice to inspire others, thus causing transformation in the lives of their clients, their companies, and their communities. My role now as a global business connector, which started in the middle of last year, is to embody the vision of Women's Speakers Association, and that is to support and connect members and help the members grow and expand their knowledge, their visibility, and collaborate with each other. Look, I'm very much into collaboration and supporting people, especially within all industries, sharing my knowledge and my expertise, and helping people to refocus. What I love about Women's Speakers Association is that it's allowed me to speak and grow as a woman in business, apart from collaboration and its global connections. And of course, I contributed to women speakers in many ways, and in regards to the book that's just been released, Voices of the 21st Century, Women Transforming the World.
Yeah, I want to show that book here. That became a bestseller in February. And I know you've been working on your own launch of your own copy and custom version of the book. These are transformational process. It's an experience. We call when you become a Voices of the 21st Century author, it's an experience. It's not that you just write a chapter and it's done. There's a whole process. Would you agree?
Look, honestly, it's amazing, what actually happens when the book is actually published. I think it was published out here way before lots of people in the USA received a copy, because I got mine something like 2 weeks after it was announced. And the books arrived, and it was, look, I just couldn't believe it. And it was weeks after that people were actually texting, or I saw notices on LinkedIn and on our Facebook that they had just received their book. But the reception that I've received since writing this chapter in the book, I had a launch last week where we had some 40 people attend. And of course, I sold amazing loads of books. And I did a bit of a speech about it, and the reception was amazing. People really, really loved it. And people want to know how you do it, How can you just write a chapter and be this popular? So it has hit the market here very, very well.
That's awesome that you've done that with the book. And we hear of all kinds of authors taking it at various times of the year and doing their own launches and getting into the media and just finding whole new opportunities that they didn't even know were there to empower themselves and to empower others with the stories. So you mentioned something about you love to see the opportunities for collaboration. What opportunities are you spearheading for collaboration?
Look, I'm pursuing all kinds of opportunities at the moment. I've been speaking to a number of groups, Rotary clubs with regards to that. And I originally thought that, people in Rotary were of a middle age, and I didn't have anything to contribute, or presenting the book wouldn't be of interest to them. But I've spoken to a couple of Rotaries clubs recently, and I sold a number of books at that particular time. But the reception that I received from the women in the organisation was inspiring. And of course, we spoke about Women Speakers Association, and we talked about the opportunities, and we also talked about the opportunities to participate in the book. But I met an interesting man from North Carolina who was over here visiting a Rotary Club, and they were actually going to a seminar in Melbourne. He bought a book. He was amazed. He actually read it. He sent me a text later on to say that he had actually read the book. So, I mean, it's sort of getting around, and he said he wasn't aware that that book was available. So as far as that goes, I'm receiving an amazing reception, and a lot of people are reading the book, and that's inspiring women to do a little bit more. And that's what I really want to do. I want to inspire women to become motivated, to change their life a little bit. We all get into ruts in our lives, and we look at it from day to day, and nothing's different. So this is an opportunity to do something different.
Yeah, the book is certainly an opportunity. And I believe you do some things with Women Speakers Association as a global business connector to help and collaborate with women. What do we have coming up?
Well, we have a visibility strategy call that's coming up very soon. That's the first week, that's the 6th of July. That is something new, and that is something new for Australia. And that is powerful. Gail actually heads that. She sits at the head of the table, and we talk about anything or everything related to business, mostly about what is important to our business, whether it's either getting marketing, promoting ourselves out there, or even changing our profiles a little bit. And this is for members and for non-members. You don't have to be a member to participate in that. And we were talking about it yesterday. We had a network meeting yesterday morning, and we were talking about it. And it's a very powerful call, and it's amazing. We just need to promote it a little bit more, I think, here in Australia, to make people more aware of the opportunities. I mean, where can you go that you can, have the head of the organisation come and talk to you and help you with your business? Free.
Right. So you mentioned Gail. Gail Watson is the founder of Women Speakers
Yes.
Association. I know you work very closely with her. She works very closely with the Global Business Connectors to bring these visibility strategy calls. She has a wealth of knowledge. I love that you're inviting the women here in Australia to do that, to come and that. And then we also have networking opportunities. And tell us about those. When are they? And why should people even bother to think about coming, especially, obviously, women?
Our next networking is on the 13th of July, which is 11 o'clock Sydney time. So, yeah, with regards, why should you network? I think more so now in life, we need to network. We need to network for business. We need to network for ourselves. Look, we're not fully leveraging our women entrepreneurs. Only 22% of Australian startups are founded by women. Since colonial times, women have played an important leadership roles in Australian businesses. Many have become household names, while others of us are quietly plugging away and changing the landscape of the business world. And that's what I'm wanting to do. I'm wanting to inspire women to get involved in more leadership roles, put their hand up. A lot of people put their hand up, others don't, and women have a tendency not to do so. And getting involved with Women Speakers Association, the opportunities are immense. The resources there are immense. The training is fabulous. I mean, I'm just asking women just to give it a go and attend one of our meetings, say July, 13th of July, come along. It's only for an hour and a half. We have a speaker as well, a motivational speaker. You'll be amazed at what you actually learn and who you actually mix with. Your global sisters are there with you as well to talk about their business and how their claim to fame, and what they have done. So the opportunities are immense.
It sounds like it. It sounds like an amazing opportunity to kind of get it, like you said, get inspired, make great connections, find resources. And like you said, put your hand up for things. And I have this visual of you, Brigitte, with seeing a woman with her hand like this, and you grab her by the wrist and you go like that, like put your hand
Yeah.
up. You're someone here. You want to help her shine, right?
Well, I do. When I see somebody that's sort of a little bit hesitant about wanting to take a leap, I always say, do it. You can always bounce back if it's not for you. If we don't take the opportunities that are there in hand, when do we take them?
Yeah. And you and I were talking before the show, and you said in order to be an entrepreneur, you've got to take some risks. So tell us about your journey. What is your background? And you also mentioned you love to share knowledge. So what is your background and what knowledge are you bringing? Do you want to bring forward?
Look, my life more or less started in 1975. I was actually at university studying psychology. And at that particular time, I realized that I didn't have enough money to keep studying because of, fees were going up and I just didn't have the funds. And subsequently, I had to get a part-time job and I had to start looking for a part-time job. So I ended up looking around and I got my first job. My first part-time job was working in a real estate office in West Ryde, which is relatively close to here. And I was leasing out apartments. And then they promoted me to the property manager. And then they promoted me to their sales department. And basically, I was the first woman in sales in 1975. Subsequently, selling units, I thought to myself, I want more. I want something more. I wasn't earning a lot of money. They weren't paying very well. And I'd sort of heard about other people being paid a little bit better. Then I started phoning around and I received information like, oh, we're not hiring women at the moment. And, that's comments like that. But I kept at it. And I ended up working for a large conglomerate that had 12 offices. And I was, once again, their first woman in sales as well. And from there, my life started. And I ended up making a name for myself because I sold some of the biggest properties in the Burwood, Strathfield area and the highest priced properties. And from there, it grew for me. But it was through determination, motivation, inspiration, and not giving up. So I guess the message that I would like to impart today is, if I can do this, why can't you? You've got to have the motivation and you've got to be inspired. And when you look around you and you're the only female in a pool of men and you sort of think, how am I going to survive this? You can't crumble and fall. You've just got to pick yourself up and you've got to keep on going. And you've got to make out, well, I'm going to be better than this guy over here. I'm going to work harder. Yes, I did work harder than most of the men in the office, but at the end of the day, it all paid off for me. So you can't give up. And I think I would like to share that knowledge and that motivation. And coming to one of our network events, I'm very motivated. I'm very inspired. And, people say that to me. They say, you're very strong in the way you speak. And I say, I speak with passion. It's because I love what I do and I feel it.
Yeah. And you've been doing a long time and helping a lot of people. And when you've kept your eyes on the prize, like on the focus of what you're doing for others, it sounds like that kept you going, especially, like Women's Speakers Association can provide more support than maybe you had. Would you agree?
Oh, look, totally. If Women's Speakers Association had been around, in my time, say in the 1980s, 1990s, can you imagine where I'd be now? If I had someone like that I could, I could speak to, I could rely on, that I could share my experience with or ask for help. And I think the most important thing with Women's Speakers Association is they are there to help. And the number of people that I've spoken to that have been really, really good to me and kind and given me information, so generous. It's just, the organisation is so generous. And I can only say from the bottom of my heart, I love it. I enjoy it. And I firmly believe in everything they stand for.
Yeah, me too.
And you've been a great help, Laura, to me.
Well, it's a pleasure. That's what we do here at Women's Speakers Association. We have all kinds of resources like you're alluding to, but there are specific things that you might be looking for that I know, Brigitte, you could support women in, and that I support women in, and that even women who want to be of support to each other come to this organization, because there is that spirit of generosity, equality, leveraging the knowledge base that comes to everything we do, every event that is put on, right? So
look, it is, yes. And I've connected with some of the other ladies, the other global leaders as well. And they speak very highly as well. And we all talk the same language. You know, we're all here for motivation and inspiration. And we're all here to help.
yeah, because that sounds like it's a big key in success today. Like we titled this show Rising Australian Women. But really it's about doing it together. You don't have to be doing it alone. Is that right?
No, look, we're here to help. I'm here to help always. You don't need to do this on your own. You shouldn't have to do this on your own. You need support. And that, you know, I think now more than ever, especially since we've all gone through COVID and life has changed a little bit for all of us, we need more support, and we all need to be there for each other, to motivate each other, to help each other along.
Yeah. So what is the one thing that you'd like women in Australia to do to increase their motivation and to thrive?
I think come and attend one of our meetings. You'd be so amazed at what the organisation offers, and what the meeting can do for you, and who you'll meet, who will inspire you. And I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to grow you're in business and you want to grow your business, or you want to be a speaker or a presenter, the resources are there. And why not speak to other people in the organisation, and that'll help you on your journey. So I think Women Speakers Association has what you need. But if it doesn't have what you need, you're not wasting your time. You'll walk away with something. Everyone that attends one of these meetings walks away with something. You've either met somebody from across the sea somewhere, you know, we have so many global people attend, or you meet somebody in business in the next state that can give you advice or can introduce you to somebody. And we have these breakout rooms where you meet people, where you talk about your business and you find out what other people do. And yesterday, we had a session. We had one breakout session, which was for all of us. And we were talking about how women in their midlife, how they see themselves in business, and what do they need, and how do their clients see them. And that was an open discussion for all of us. And I didn't quite know at the time whether it was fitting to do it, but the feedback I've had this morning was amazing, that people enjoy being in this group and talking freely.
Yeah, just having the space to connect with other people and share a challenge or hear somebody else's solution is powerful, right? So before we go any further, people might be wondering, where can you find these events? How can you join Women Speakers Association? Well, you can join at joinwsa.com. And if you first want to put your toe in the water and join us for an event, go to wsalive.com/events. Or if you just go to wsalive.com, click the events tab, and pick a time that works for you, an event. We have the Australian women's events, and if you're in another part of the world, pick a time that works for you. The visibility strategy call is brilliant to come to as well, right? Any other recommendations?
Well, if you go to events, you'll see the calendar and you'll be able to know what you can get involved in. I mean, even if you join Women Speakers Association in Australia, the rest of the world is open to you, or you can fit in with all the other events as well. And they're becoming more time friendly now. Yes,
they definitely are. So no matter where you are, join, because you're part of the global organization, and we're going to take your business from local to global and back from global to local. Brigitte, I know you're connecting women in Australia today to each other.
Yes.
And I love that we have these events scheduled at a good time for Australian women. 11 a.m. July 13th is the next networking. And I believe you said July 6th is the next visibility strategy. But they're all up at wsalive.com. So please visit. And Brigitte, thank you for the amazing work you're doing with women, the passion and inspiration you have. I mean, you've just lifted up so many people just by sharing your little tidbits and your excitement for success and thriving in this world.
Thank you, Laura. It's so good to see you again.
Great to see you. Well, bye, everyone. We'll be back next week with another edition of our Women's
Bye-bye.
Speakers Association's Women's Premier